Hello everyone, welcome back to our Mudbox tutorial series. In the last lesson we were working over the fingernails and toenails. We're going to go ahead and continue on with our model here. I'm going to go ahead and save. It's been a little bit, so we're going to go ahead and save scene, and then we'll continue on here. Alright, so in this lesson I'm going to work on creating some of the wrinkles in the face area around the lips, and I'm also going to work over a little bit the back area and kind of work in this definition a little bit better. So let's go ahead and start on the face here. I've been talking about doing it in the past couple of lessons, but I've been getting wrapped up in doing the hands and feet. So let's go ahead and jump in and do some of the face here. So let's go ahead and start out by just, I don't need stay stroke on, turn this off. Let's go ahead and bring in a little bit down here. Okay, and I think the fall off, actually that's okay. Let's bring the strength up to 0.3. Okay. Okay, I'm going to turn off symmetry for a moment, because as it gets to the center, I don't want it to be so so symmetrical. I want it to be asymmetrical. Break this up a little bit as well. Kind of come up over here, and I want to fill that little spot right in there. So let's see here. We're going to do fill, and just fill that spot right there. Smooth it out. Back to my sculpt. Work that up underneath the lips. And right now I'm just going to work on filling up some of the lip area where these wrinkles kind of connect in. Kind of being careful not to get rid of all these striations I created earlier. Okay. I'm going to break the fall off back over to something a little sharper. Let's do something like this. Oh, I'm back on fill still. That's why it's behaving kind of strangely. Okay, that makes sense. What is going on here? Why am I not building? There we go. It's filling it all in, not giving me any kind of lumps. Okay, quickly add that back in there. Sometimes that may happen to you in Mudbox where you click on it and it doesn't quite take the first time, then you go at the tool and you realize that you clicked on it but didn't accept it. So make sure it actually stays highlighted when you know your tool's active. Okay, I'm gonna smooth out these wrinkles just a little bit. Just bring down their intensity a smidge. I'm gonna pinch them a little, see how that works. Smooth it a little. Pinch them here. Basically just like tightening up the wrinkles. Smooth it a little bit. Okay. And let's use this stamp here. Oh, it is on already. Okay. And let's use that on this one here. So we're going to go over here, go to this stamp, turn on this one here, and use it to help us kind of create or continue on these wrinkles up here. So smooth that out. I want to have these guys continue their wrinkles on over here as well. Smooth that out. Connecting up with the eyes. Be real careful about that. Breaking off into like this ear canal area and connecting with where the arms are too. Remember, I don't have mirroring on, so I gotta do this on both sides right now. I'm gonna turn mirroring back on in a second, but let's try to make some things a little bit more asymmetrical. Okay. Let's have that kind of go back in here too. Smooth all that out. Let's pinch, turn off that, and pinch some of this. Pinch some of that. Okay. Happier with the wrinkles on the front now. Okay, let's go ahead and give the back its due diligence. So we're going to go and kind of work through and redefine some of these bony type bits and some of the muscle that's going on back here. So to do that, I'm going to jump back to my Sculpt tool, make sure mirroring's back on, and I'm going to, let's see here, let's turn on steady stroke in some spots here. I'm going to dig that out a little bit more. Dig this spot here out. Actually, no, I don't even need steady stroke on. That's just, you don't got a smooth hand with your mouse, you might want to keep it on. Okay, and then I'm gonna build up a little bit on top of this. That's where my fall offs are at. Let's put this one right now. Okay, and then last one, this one right here. Let's go with the sharper one here. Just using that to push in the surrounding area of the spine. So when I go to smooth it out here in a second, it takes it a little better. Run my smooth tool over it just slightly. Okay, like that a little better. I'm going to dig in underneath where these shoulder blade things are. So my inverse, I just cut in right in here. Cut back down in this area. And cut up right in here. I need stamp spacing on. Okay. Soften that back out. I'm going to sharpen these guys. So I'm going to go over to my pinch tool. Didn't take my pinch. There we go. Just going to pinch the corners here. Sharpen that up. Right here. Sharpen these guys up. Like that. There we go. Use my flatten tool to push down around the outside in here. Kind of like that look. It's kind of making it look like he has armor plates for shoulder blades. Might want to continue that look right here. Maybe I'll sharpen those guys up on the side here as well. And see if I can sharpen the corners on this up and give it that continued look right there and there. Yeah, I like that. Sharpen this bit right here too. Just keep on going around and there we go. Like that. I'll dig around the top as well. So let's see here. Like that. I'm gonna flatten this spot right here. Oops, take the flatten tool. Come on, flatten tool. There we go. Flatten this spot. And then let's continue actually. Take it back to my build fall off and build it going around the top here so that it has like this transition spine piece. Okay, like that. Let's go ahead and pinch these sides here. Let's leave that. Pinch it some more right there. Pinch a little bit more. Okay. there needs to be some separation here though, otherwise it'll look like this is one piece. So let's go ahead and dig that in. I'll smooth all this out. Definitely don't want to elude that the spine and the shoulder blades are connected. That would create some anatomy issues. And we'll pinch this bit right here. Oops, didn't take the pinch. There we go, pinch. Okay, that's good. All right, so the lower parts down here, there's just the hip bone kind of working a little bit, and that should be pretty simple. I'm just going to build in just some kind of a smooth some of this out. Might have been a little bit too strong, but let's see here. You got a made up kind of anatomy. I can kind of roll with it a little bit. Bring the strength down to 0.2 and kind of create like it's going to be like rib bones coming around the side here. Which will be the same things as wrinkles. Okay, so smooth. And then we'll pinch. Okay, we'll pinch just a little bit. Oops, pinched intake. Okay, like that. Just one little spot here. I'm not really digging. That's the spot right here. There we go. I'm happy with that. Okay, let's see here. Should we do anything with the butt specifically? Maybe just let's see here. Let's do some sculpt. Just break up the smoothness, I guess, just a little bit more. that's pretty good. Okay, so we are at 20 minutes. We've got a few more minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and save, and we're going to work in some of the skin details. Save scene. So we're going to go up another subdivision level, and this may be too much for some of your computers, but we're going to go ahead and try it out anyways. So you do Shift D, or you just go to up here, Mesh, and add new subdivision level. Take a minute for it to unwrap all this. There we are. We're at 7 million polygons now. That's what it said. Plenty of geometry now to be able to fix the fingers if we want to go into that. But what I'm going to start doing is creating the skin pores and details. So we're going to go ahead and add ourselves another layer. It's going to be Sculpt L6. So just in case you guys are curious, like what's up with all these layers, for one, you need a sculpt layer to sculpt on that layer. But also, you can use these sculpt layers, if you haven't watched in my previous lessons, to control how much strength each of the sculpt details has on that particular layer. So you can go over here and just bring the strength down up or higher. So if the skin texture looks too intense, you could always dial it back down or do a blend. Something we'll deal with later on towards the end of the project. Okay, so now we're going to get into doing some of the details. This is where you kind of want to somewhat break it up a little bit and not have mirroring on the entire time. I'll turn it off for a moment. I'm going to create a couple little bits like a couple warts. Let's go ahead and do might be a little too much like that. Create one on his nose, a couple by his eyebrows, different sizes. Down by his lips. You'd appreciate that. Okay. You can put them other places too as well, but having them on prominent things like his face and whatnot is what gives him a character you're probably after. Okay, I like that. Go with that more later on. Let's go ahead and just as an example, so you guys were curious about the sculpt layer stuff, you can always go over here and say, I'm actually going to bring this down to, let's say, 40, 30%, so you can see that these have all gone significantly smaller, or just, let's bring it down to like 10% or 0, that are gone all the way. And 5%, you can see they're just starting to kind of come back, or maybe up to like 20%. Now they're much more visible. So you have a lot more control here, and you can create multiple layers on each level to control the strength of specific parts that you may be modeling. So just a little FYI for you. So instead of calling it Sculpt L6, I could call this Sculpt Warts and then do it like that. But just for time efficiencies, I'm just going to leave this all on the same layer. I'm not going to try to break it up right now. Okay, so the next one I'm going to do is, say I want to use a stencil. And I'm going to use, let's start out with, let's go with this one. There we go, more of a leathery one. And it might be good to have stencil or mirroring on right now. I'm going to go ahead and turn it back on to local X. Okay, bring strength down to, let's say, 0.1. And you definitely want to make sure that as you're doing this kind of stuff that you put on the entire model. 0.1 is still too much. Just do 0.05. There we go. And you may decide that maybe, actually before I get into this, I'm going to create myself another layer. This one's just going to be called Skin 1. And that way, if I create this and I realize that I went too far as what this looks like, I can always reel it back. And with this, you do need to constantly be changing your view, because it's a projection. So if you catch an angle, it can stretch your sculpt. Now, if you look over here on the left, it tells you what all the shortcuts are. I'm not talking about it because I've talked about this in previous lessons, but you can scale, rotate, do all kinds of things with these stencils, including download your own stencils or create your own stencils. You don't have to use the stencils they give you. You just add the little icon here, and you can go to add stencil if you have one from the internet you gathered, or if you create your own in Photoshop. Really a super useful tool to have at your disposal. I keep rotating just so it's kind of matching the direction this stuff's all going. All right, so there we go. Got some good little texture going on here. Now, you see how this is like, you might be like, oh, that's a little too intense. This is where one of those things that since I have it on a layer, I can be like, oh, let's go ahead then and just run that down a little bit and make it where it's not quite so intense. Maybe I want to be at, let's see here, maybe bring it down to like 18 or something like that, where it's not quite so prevalent. But I'm going to leave it up at 100 to begin with. I'm going to do a couple different skin layers, so I'm just going to kind of work over the entire model. Some spots I'm going to leave without it though. So the wrinkles, for instance, I'm trying to keep on the high side of the wrinkles. I'll go over this guy and where the warts are at. Just going to smooth that right away. I don't want the warts to have that texture applied to them. I want those guys to stand out a little bit. turn off the mirroring for a second. Center spot. And the nose, I already know the nose. I don't want to have that much applied to it, so I'm actually going to go back and smooth some of the nose out. That way when I reel all these textures back a little bit, it'll reel the nose back even more so. I'll turn that back on to local X, and then I'll just work over the rest of the model really quick. Go ahead and save again. I don't know if you guys saw my computer stutter, but when you're at this highest subdivision level, when you're affecting a lot of stuff, a lot of polygons, you can end up having the computer accidentally crash just because it's trying to factor so many things at the same time. I'll leave underside alone. That was one of the soft spots that I talked about earlier that I wanted to keep. So it kind of has that lizard kind of belly look. But just on that arm part there. Okay, so I'll go ahead and finish this part up here. We are running a little bit long. We're over half an hour now. I'm going to break it up here in just a minute. Backside, I'm just going to hit the high spots and leave the valleys alone. So. Mm-hmm. Wanted to make sure the Keelys got hit, but on the inside didn't. So hopefully that's what I just did there. Okay. There we go. Got some really solid texture on there. And this is one of those spots where a little bit later on, I'm not going to do it quite yet, but you can always go through now and be like, all right, so that skin detail is just too much. Just bring this down to, let's say, 20%. And that looks much more tolerable and even. So I'm going to probably leave it at, let's say, 27%. Okay. So I'm going to stop here. We're at 36 minutes. It's a long video. The next lesson, I'm going to finish up with one more skin layer, and then we're going to transition into painting. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys in the next lesson.